All right, so last race was Mexico City. It's been a couple of days. I've gotten my thoughts together. Um, it was it was a pretty good race. I'd put it up, probably up with Coda. Coda was really good earlier in the year. I liked it. Um, there were some issues with the travel. I guess it seemed like things were things crept up on them a little bit. It seems like they weren't as prepared as they should have been, and so there were. I mean, whether it was flights getting delayed, um, trucks being delayed, border issues, all of it went down. It seemed like a few of the drivers ended up getting sick. SVG, who won, we all heard what he said, um, leaking out of both holes. That I don't think I've ever heard it described that way. Um, he won. He definitely deserving winner. A lot of people were talking about him being in the 30s, uh, getting a playoff waiver. But I think it's best said that right now you can only use what you are given. And so the format they are given is if you win, you are put in. And I think that is exactly why SVG got this cup car so quick, is because we know he can knock out a win at one of these road courses. So it makes sense. And that the amount of money that he gets just from being in the playoffs is millions, going from 30th in the rankings to least 16th. That is pretty serious cash, and it is worth him being in that spot to win it a year. And who knows? There's a couple more road courses to the playoffs. He might still win a few of those. And if he does make it through the playoffs and he makes it through the round of 16, there is a road course in the round of 12. So that lines up perfectly for him. After that, I think it gets a little bit harder for him to make it further on in the round. But, a lot of people were saying, should we have him in over the people that would be pointing themselves in anyways? And I think if you look at the cut, it's like Kyle Busch, Ryan Preece. Those guys are good drivers. Do we think they're going to go further than SVG can in the playoffs? I'm not too sure. They all seem like they're in about the same level when you consider what SVG can do on the road courses. Mexico City, like I said, was it seemed like a pretty good race. I wouldn't say decent, a pretty good race. It still seemed like there was limited passing, but for us going to track the first time, you kind of would expect that. There didn't seem to be any track limits enforced, which kind of makes it easier. You don't get those, tic-tac penalties, but it's also like guys are possibly getting a little bit unfair advantages, or they're going into places that they're not necessarily intended to be. But and I think that's a little bit what makes the passing so hard, is because they're not so scared to get off the gas going into the corner. They pick up the gas earlier into the corner. And that just all plays into the leader's advantage or whoever's ahead of them. Carson Hocevar is an issue at this point. He is becoming an issue. He didn't seem like he was very much in the mix at all. He never really used that speed. He's a decent road course racer. We just have so many road course ringers and good cup road course drivers at this point that it might be hard for him to kind of get a normal good spot up there. But besides that, being a lap down and then not only wrecking someone being a lap down, but the one person that almost beat your ass 2 weeks before that's brave. I mean, it's stupid, to be, in all honesty, trying to race someone being a lap down and then hitting a car that is on the lead lap. It's just real stupid, ignorant. He has all the talent in the world, but he's got issues he needs to clean up. I did see something earlier in this week, and it was like, it would have been funny if Ricky Stenhouse punched him in a Fun Pop uniform, and that was pretty interesting. But he does seem like, And I understand maybe not wanting to do something in Mexico, like you said, to get arrested or anything, God forbid, over there. But he is running the wire thin with these drivers, and Ricky Stenhouse is already probably worn out. I bet in the next 3 weeks he might wreck him once or twice. I feel like he could wreck him twice in the next 5 weeks if he gets close. I really think. I mean, Ricky for the next couple years, maybe as long as he's in the series left, he will be holding a grudge against Hocevar, I believe. And Hocevar needs to hold it to him. He can't be having any more of these rivals that will hold him for getting a win. They will absolutely, especially if he starts knocking with some of these very good experienced Cup drivers, they will not let him get a win, and that will honestly hold him back more than anything. He's got the speed. He's got the talent. Just the issues are what is easily his glaring issue. And, I mean, it's bright as the sun, to be honest. Oh, and then, not to mention on track, his off track, the words he said. I think it was even while he was in Mexico City, he was saying these things. And he did have an apology. He made an apology before he got fined $50,000, and then kind of restated his apology, but also attacked some of the people, not attacked, but I guess backed Spire and their decision to fine him, because he, in all honesty, like he said, he deserved to be fined. And this, hopefully, like he said, will be a learning curve for him, a learning situation, but man, if it isn't, he's gonna have a rough couple of years trying to get himself maintained. And like I said, Mexico City was a great race, or probably a good race, not a great race. But do I want to see it back next year? And I think I do. There's a lot of rumors about the next Cup schedule next year. This is about when it happens, and some of this also, the schedule will determine on how the playoff system is, whatever they decide to do that next year. But for Mexico City as a race, I'd like to see it back. I like going to new places and going there for 2 or 3 years, kind of landing your mark and then moving on and maybe coming back later. I think Chicago Street Course is a good example of this. This will be the 3rd year, and after this, it's probably unlikely they return to Chicago unless it's Chicagoland on the oval. But you know, whether it's Mexico City and the Chicago Street Race, there's also a lot of anticipation that San Diego Street Course might be an option as soon as next year. And those 3, I don't think there's that many spots in the schedule for them. I think you have to pick 2 out of the 3, or maybe even 1 out of the 3. Whether it's San Diego and Mexico City, that'd probably be my choice. Get some freshness in this. No matter, I mean, Chicago Street Course has been great, but I think you need some variety going into new schedules. And you know, another thing that also makes this super cramped is the fact that there's so many short track races on the schedule right now, or at least local short track races like Bowman Gray, the All-Star Race. I mean, all those are short tracks that had been revived but are taking up many spots on the course. And if you're going to want these many road courses, I bet one of those races are also going to have to go. But, you know, like I said, I think my opinion is San Diego and go back to New Mexico next year if San Diego's an option. Other than that, I think the schedule we'll start learning more about that soon. And there should be more clarity. Hopefully, not only with the schedule, but the playoff system. I think, depending on when we learn about the playoff system, if the schedule comes out first, we might be able to put a playoff schedule together, just like with how the schedules looked arranged. We might be able to think in our head how they might have this system playing out. If I gave this race a rating, it would probably be 7 out of 10. A little bit above good, probably not in that great area. I mean, we've had some great last couple races. Michigan was great. Um, the Coca-Cola 600 was great. Prime, all their races have seemed to be at least average to great. Um, so I think there's hope. And, this is the whole crew that's going to stay for TNT. So I've got a lot of hope for TNT. We might be able to not see um, the leeway that Prime has with the beginning show, the after show, the commercial free at the checkered. I mean, that's all been wonderful. And I think TNT going back cable will have to scratch some of that, but we'll see. They're, again, for 5 races, and they've got another crown jewel in their allotted amount of races, so this will be fun. And thank you for watching.